It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
I know Megan Olson. She's with Alpha News, and we do this thing called Alpha News in Review. And I thank you for coming on the program. What we're talking about is the news stories that get the most retweets, resent, replies, likes, and little heart shapes and stuff like that. Right? I mean, what do you guys call
No,
it?
you're right. It's just the way you describe it. Every week it's something new. I'm surprised you can be so creative about it.
What? It's a little heart-shaped things, little thumbs up. Gotta do this.
The most engagements.
Yes, a little turd-looking thing. Everybody, all of it counts, right? if people are retweeting it or redoing their thing, this is what we did talk about for the week, and I appreciate you putting that all together. Alphanews.org is where you can get the stories. I like it as pretty much a who, what, where, why, when thing. It isn't a lot of personal commentary. I like the news. So let's kick start it. What do you got for us today, Megan?
Yeah, so last week we kind of touched on a story that was going to break, and it did break.
Yes.
A really interesting story down in Albert Lee about a September 20th, which it seems outdated, but it's not, because the emails are coming forward from this September 20th school board meeting that was standing room only, and a particular school board member who wanted to see a list of who had signed up to speak after the fact, because they were limiting public comment. They were saying that they didn't have enough time. So the acting board chair hand cherry picked certain people to speak, likely with some intent there. We got comments from someone who used to be a school board representative, Aaron Ferris, and he had explained that it was pretty apparent that the people chosen to speak were handpicked. But then these emails came out afterwards of a school board member simply inquiring about, well, who all signed up? I'm curious who else, like, maybe we should be reaching out to and getting their opinions. And the superintendent just obliterated her via email for a variety of reasons, saying that she's an onerous burden, just really bad, horrible language to be expressing to a school board member who is essentially your boss.
Well, yeah, when I read the story, my thought was, as much as I was just asking a very simple question, it was pointed. The superintendent knew what was going on. There's bad will going on there, and it had nothing to do with just this meeting, but it was like, I'm going to poke, and I'm going to poke, and then you're going to say something wrong, or in this case, put in writing, which seems weird to me that people even write anything down anymore, because once it's down, yeah, people are going to find it. It doesn't go away.
Just the fact that he's claiming that the school board member is overstepping her authority, and her authority only rests with the school board in session. Well, this document pertains to a school board session. Yeah. And it just seems like a very simple request to get that upset about, and to bring that much heat to, and to call her a burden.
Again, back to everybody knows somebody's doing something a little, maybe not wrong, but not all that right. And yeah, he probably picked people, or she picked people that she wanted to have speak. And so we're limited time, so we'll do this. There's some crazy stuff going on out there at these school board meetings.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing school board meetings, and they don't want to be told what. They don't want to hear what. They just leave us alone. We've been doing this for years.
We talked about it last week too, but we have people quitting because they just can't handle it. They can't handle their job getting tough, and parents starting to wake up and pay attention. And then we have, over in Virginia, school board signs that say, get parents out of the classroom. And so this thing extends beyond Minnesota, it extends beyond the metro. I mean, it's down in Albert Lee, it's out in Virginia. It's parents getting upset, and Mama Bear and Papa Bear going in there. And
that Virginia thing was shocking. I know we're talking Minnesota news here, but Virginia, that's an ex-governor who came out and said, yeah, parents should be trying to tell us what we should teach our kids. We're the educational professionals. Let them do it. My mouth dropped open. What?
Just the way it was phrased on the sign of get parents out of the classroom.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
That, but yeah, very poorly done. I think it already has backfired, but I think it will continue to backfire for sure.
All right, yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, that's like the what do they call that? The third rail. It is. What are you talking about? Take parents out? Yeah, they're not going to be happy. Well, we've talked about this. I find this amazing in the last 3 months, the number of parents that have taken the time to go to their school board meetings. My kids are going through school. I go to school board meetings and sit and watch, and there'll be 8 guys in the room. And it's like, well, he's a reporter and she's a reporter, and the rest of us are sitting there watching for whatever reason.
Now it's standing room only.
Exactly. And we're limiting how much new topic stuff we can talk about, because you know why? We don't have enough time. I find it interesting. I think it's the American way. Now we can do it nicer and we don't have to yell and scream, but I think it's great. The more people get involved, the better. It'll all make a better outcome.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. We talked about, what's going on in the schools too. And another continuing topic that we're seeing here is the labor shortage and seeing issues in the healthcare industry and frontline workers being understaffed. And I think Mayo Clinic is going to have a lot of issues on their hand coming up since that their vaccine mandate is coming up on the 8th. Every employee has to be vaccinated or have a medical exemption, which is incredibly difficult to obtain. And it sounds like there's about 8,000 employees that have not done the vaccine yet. It's October. If they want the vaccine, they probably would have gotten it by now. So we're looking at a massive shortage.
Probably would have gotten it by now. You could have got tickets to the zoo. You could have got $100. Your kids can get $200. If you wanted the shot, you've got the shot.
Kids can go to school for free. Don't forget about that one.
You get all of it is free. Here's what I do not understand, and you in the news, you guys covered it. So this, please, not necessarily you. But how in the world, when they have a strike outside of Mayo professionals striking, saying we're not getting the shot, don't fire us? How is that not the front page news? What I mean by that, these are medical professionals that have worked 2 years in a pandemic. They're willing to walk. This is big news. This is going to be huge.
Yeah, and that's another great thing about Alpha News is that we're reporting on stuff that you're not going to be seeing in the regular newspapers and these stories that we bring to light. And we interviewed a gal in there too who worked for Mayo Clinic, and her stating that she's not an anti-vaxxer. She has every single other vaccine, but she thinks that the way that these vaccine mandates are coming about and the way that the government is taking power, she said she thinks that the institution is falling victim to communism, in her words. And it breaks patient autonomy, which I think is a great way of putting it, that it breaks patient autonomy.
And what gets me about it, and again, I get it. I get the governor wanting to give you $200. He wants to get the shot. I get Mayo wants you to get the shot. I understand where they're coming from. What I don't get is it surely looks, as we sit here today, coronavirus numbers came out again over the weekend. They look a little larger, but you divide by 3 and it's not as bad. Is that nationwide, we're down about 35% coronavirus cases from its peak. Mm-hmm. Minnesota is now down about 10% in hospital bed use in the last 4 days. It seems to be we've peaked and come down. Why are we going to get rid of 8,000 people at Mayo? Why are we having police department in Minneapolis having these issues when in maybe, knock on wood, we'll get 3 weeks from now and this thing all but over, waiting for the next spike, whatever it is. But we are going to really change the way America works.
The whole thing is a power grab, because we have another story that we can touch on briefly about a doctor who was fired for speaking about mask mandates at a school board meeting in Fergus Falls. So we're voluntarily just getting rid of people. But we know on the back end of that we have these labor shortages, but the government power grab is just all too powerful that we're turning around and losing, honestly, some pretty incredible people and some pretty selfless people that do a lot of great work in this state.
Well, Fergus Falls, and I don't know this surgeon, but I mean, Fergus Falls is not the largest town in the world. How many surgeons you got lying around just waiting to fill the hole? This guy goes to a school board meeting and says after he's done talking, everything switches at work. And he's basically told you can resign or we'll fire you. And he goes, I'm not resigning. They fired him.
Yeah, not even over malpractice, not over an error, over his opinions about a piece of cloth that covers your face.
And his was, as I understand it, this is America. We're all smart enough to read the stories and hear the news and let them make their own choices. That's what he stood on, and he got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I tell you, I mean, you're a young lady, but it was only 3-4 years ago. You could stand up for what America stood for, and you didn't get fired.
Absolutely. And that's what he's just advocating for, is just individual liberty, not even about the masks. Like you said, it's not about the science of the masks, if it works, if it doesn't work. It's just about having the freedom to choose, which is exactly what these Mayo Clinic employees want as well.
This is probably putting you on the spot, but is there any more freedom to choose in America? What I mean by that, if you're not vaxxed, you're shunned. If you don't wear the mask, in school, you're shunned. I don't know that these 4 folks have even the semblance of being able to choose anymore. We've chosen, and you need to join us.
But I think we're walking a fine line. But I think there is something to be said about societal shame being either used for good or used for bad. So there's definitely a place for societal pressures for certain things, like we could talk about, like in history, monogamy, the societal pressure to be with one person. There's a place for.
Oh yeah, but if I'm not mistaken,
but vaccines and masks,
almost everyone in America said just a year and a half ago, yes, shots are good, masks could work. We're never going to force anybody to do that. They're not going to have travel vouchers or whatever. We're getting pretty darn close now. 2 years ago, we were saying, don't worry, that's not going to happen in America.
That's why 2022 is really, really important. And that's why we can talk about this fall too, in literally a week, defunding the Minneapolis police. These elections, these local small elections that normal people don't vote in, that stuff is starting to weigh a little bit heavier on Americans' backs.
Let's talk about that election coming up after the break. Fair enough?
Sounds good.
Megan Olson, Alpha News and Review, right here on Al in the Afternoon. We will have about 7 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right. Now, the Mayo thing, I couldn't believe that wasn't the front page news and everywhere in Minnesota and around. I mean, that's just stunning to me.
A lot of people.
Well, and then they're going to say, well, they're the accountants or the people that change the beds or whatever. I wonder how many doctors and stuff were in that.
Yeah, but they keep everything running. I mean, you can't run the hospital without those people. It's not like the frontline workers. I think, like Health Partners came out with their data and like clinicians are like 99% vaccinated. It's definitely more so like the desk jobs.
Yeah.
But they keep it afloat. So
up in 1 minute.
Sounds good.
Offended? Al in the Afternoon is not for you. Al in the Afternoon. All sides are welcome.
All right, I've got none other than Megan Olson on with us, Alpha News and Review. Before we go to the next story, if I can, Megan, the deal with Mayo, which I found interesting in your guys' article, was that they're chanting, of course, Mayo, shame on you. Mayo is saying to comply with Biden administration's vaccine mandates, they have to do this. If I'm not mistaken, Biden said he was going to make this 100-employee executive order, but he has yet to do it. He said it, but he has never actually gone through it. There is no executive order that Mayo's following. Am I correct?
You are correct. And it's happening. Obviously, they're making these decisions. My brother-in-law, he serves in the military, Air Force National Guard. They literally drove him to a clinic to get the vaccine. They're absolutely implementing it. It's quite absurd.
But he's not signed it. It's not an executive order. This is him at a press conference is what we've got so far.
Yeah. So I think people are just expecting, obviously it's going to happen. So they just assume, I don't know, what he says goes at this point. I mean, isn't that how it's been since the beginning of the pandemic? But
all right. I know I read that somewhere and I wanted to get the news. The 800 policemen, what's going on in St. Paul, Minneapolis?
300 in Minneapolis. They've lost 300 cops since 2020. which is massive. And because of that loss, they're now asking for $27 million, which is a 17% budget increase. So that's going to be covering the personnel cost increases, because obviously we have a labor shortage. We need to be attracting people to the field, spending increase for disability, and workers' compensation increases as well. So it's really...
Does it really matter? Doesn't it all come down? I mean, my point is, Minneapolis Police Department can ask for whatever they want, but next Tuesday we're voting on a lot of this stuff.
If they're going to exist. Yeah, next Tuesday we're voting on if they're essentially going to exist. I mean, the language in that question number 2 ballot initiative is very creative, in that it says that a police force will be formed if necessary, but it's absolutely being dismantled. And so
is this a move by the police chief, do you think? Because he's out here asking for $27 million 6 days before they vote whether he's even there. I get the idea. Hey, we lost 300 officers. You want to know why things are bad? We don't have any cops here. We have to pay.
It serves as a good time to draw attention to the fact that this year, since January to now, gunshot wound victims have gone up by 137%. Since 2019, there's been a 114% increase in homicides. It's a good opportunity to draw attention to the fact that the city is literally crashing and burning, and they need money, and they need workers, and they need help. And the city is prioritizing defunding and dismantling them instead of protecting their own citizens.
All right. One last story before we go, because I got to get your opinion on it. So the Minnesota House of Representatives has decided that we're still in this pandemic. It's still really bad. We're not going to meet at the people's house. We're going to do Zoom calls. And if you're not invited, you're not going to hear your input. That's just the way we do it. And literally in the next building over, the Senate's going to do things like we used to do things. The governor's still doing his what am I missing here?
And the speaker and other Democrat representatives who are in that caucus are going to not be in person, but turn around and go hop on over to a brewery in their district and fundraise. So it's hypocrisy. I mean, Connie Bernardi, Kayla Berg, Fooley, I think Hortman may have had a fundraiser in person, but for sure those 3 have done in-person fundraisers, but then they're turning their backs on their constituents, going up to the Capitol and saying, oh, the pandemic, it's happening, wear your mask, we need to stay at home still. So do you care about money, or do you care about your constituents? What's going on?
And it seems, I get it. They got to go raise funds. You go raise funds. They're all going to say they wear masks. I got it. But they're going to be running in this next election. So during the time that this is going on, they're not meeting at the House. Are they not going to go door to door knocking on doors and asking people to vote for them? Because, oh my goodness, it's so bad we can't even go to work.
You can't even go to work. Yeah. And so they're saying that they're going to be doing session in person with masks, but then everything else outside of that, committee hearings and all that, needs to be done remotely, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because you're prioritizing the biggest pool of people. Obviously session, like when you're actually in the room, that's like 134 members. And then, the committees are, the 12 or whatever. So the priorities are quite odd.
What I don't get is we're following the science, but across the street in the Senate building, that's different science.
I think it's because they're controlled by the Republicans, and the Republicans want to get back to work and do their job like they're supposed to. And they want the public to be able to come and to witness and to testify. They don't want it to be virtual for them anymore because it's less effective.
There's got to be something here. I as much as I'd love to think all our fine leaders, I'll just love to hear from all the people. I don't know that I believe that on the Republican side either. But there's something that says, well, no, if we stay closed, something signaling somebody. It makes no sense to me. Is it easier to do all your work via Zoom? Maybe it is. Maybe just save you the trip into the city.
Probably. And I mean, Hortman's making that decision, and she's not very far from the city, so I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah, that to me was a very interesting move on her part. I wonder if it will change between now and January. And I'm back to, and I'm the only guy tooting this, things seem to be getting better. I know if you've got COVID, I know if you've lost from COVID, you're still hurting and reeling. I'm not discounting that. But the numbers show that this seems to be in decline. The Delta variant is moving down.
Like next week, we're going to have shots in the arms of people under the age of 12. Pfizer was FDA approved, so we're going to be moving forward with that. Our health commissioner, Malcolm, here in Minnesota, said that it should take about a week for us to get some of those doses. So if that's what they want, that's what they're going to get, and things are going to start getting better.
Well, my point being is that maybe we decided way too early and caused a controversy about whether you're going to get together, because they don't even meet until January. You probably didn't have to come up with this comment and for another month and a half. Fair enough?
For sure.
Megan, it's been a pleasure. I know we're going to miss you next week, but you have yourself a nice week off, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
It's Megan Olson's Alpha News and Review on Al in the Afternoon.